The object of Taxi Chronicles is to allow real riders with real stories, share their experience and enhance your life. So sit back and enjoy the journey. Morning. Yes, we're back with another episode, another rider. Today we have an interesting guy and he's a casting director amongst other things, and we've been talking about the movies and I've been talking about other people I've interviewed today, and he seems to know his stuff, so let's see what he has to say. Nice to have you here today. Is it Philippa?
No, sorry, that's my mate. He got the cab for me. My name's Connor.
Connor, nice to have you here today, Connor. Good old Irish name.
Yeah, very Irish name. Connor O'Neill.
Yeah.
About as Irish as they come.
So how did you get into casting?
So I've been making films and like plays since I was a kid. I was writing to begin with. I was like writing short books. This honestly sounds like a brag, but it is true. When I was in year 4, I had a book published. It was a children's book by a child for children, you know.
I'm a bit older, so when you say year 4, how old are you then?
I would have been 9.
Okay.
Yeah. I wrote a little story about how all the animals of the kingdom get their colour and how they were unhappy with it, but they came to grips with how it was relative and everyone should appreciate the skin they're born in, you know.
Oh, very politically correct story.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, big up 9-year-old me. Yeah.
So I hope you got paid for that.
I did get paid for that.
More than pocket money.
Yeah, no, I just got pocket money. My
parents took it.
They took home the big pennies.
Sue your parents, get that money around. No, you didn't take me IP fine. You were paid, I don't care. Yeah, so what kind of child were you when you were in school? Obviously you're creative.
Yeah, I was very driven when I was younger. If anything, that's, I would say, eased off. I think I've got more, relative and more appreciative of the world we live in. Like, when I was a kid, I thought I was going to be the next Christopher Nolan. I thought I was going to be Sam Mendes, but now I'm very happy making the things I make, and I love working on the projects I work on. Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting. Well, there's still time.
Yeah.
I don't know what age Christopher Nolan got big. Is it on the Batman stuff he got big?
No, it would have been Memento, and was his first big one. The film that shot like backwards. But yeah, okay. I say that, but honestly, if I'm gonna be a nerd about film, his brother is probably the biggest inspiration in my life. Okay. Jonathan Nolan is sensational. He wrote pretty much everything Christopher Nolan did with him up until Interstellar, I think. Mm-hmm. And then after Interstellar, which they wrote together, Jonathan Nolan went off and did Westworld.
Mm-hmm. The TV series?
Exactly, yeah. So that's Jonathan Nolan, yeah. That's his brother. Yeah.
So they're like that David Attenborough and
Richard Attenborough.
Yeah. Richard Attenborough's dead now, isn't it?
He is, sadly, yeah. I've met the director of photography he worked with on Gandhi, actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
You really know your stuff about films, didn't you?
I love films. Yeah, I love it. I love it.
For films. And,
yeah.
The sequel trilogy,
mm-hmm.
Batman, Dark Knight, and Dark Knight, I can't remember the other names.
Yeah, Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah, which ones do you reckon is the best?
So, like, fundamentally, The Dark Knight is the best one.
That's the one with Christopher Nolan.
Yeah, Christopher Nolan did all 3. That's the one with Heath Ledger playing the Joker. Yeah. But also, I've got to say that Batman Begins, the first one of the 3, is still exceptional and laid the groundwork for all 3. Like, none of the 3 films would exist if he hadn't made Batman Begins, and Batman Begins is a very, very solid film in a lot of ways. Yeah.
So wait, Batman Begins, which is the one with what's the British actor?
What, Tom Hardy?
Yeah, Tom Hardy.
That's the third one. That's Dark Knight Rises.
Okay.
That's probably my least favourite, actually. I do like it. It is a good film, but I think compared to the other ones, it doesn't stand up, which I completely understand, considering the production was coming off the back of a tragedy, you know, with Heath Ledger taking his own life, and that's tragic. And I think it would be very hard to make a film in that environment. But
he really Ledger really played this role well, though.
He was incredible,
I
but
watched the outtakes of when he was, what do you call it, doing what you do, the cast.
yeah,
And he said he had this friend who's he's Australian, isn't he?
Yep.
Australia, yeah. Who's an Aborigine guy, and he called him in and he said, "Come on," he goes, "I'm going for this film, but don't tell anybody."
yeah,
And he just did his part, like did a voice of the friend. Went,
exactly.
Like,
It would
wow!
have been terrifying. It would have
And he
been
went,
terrifying. Electric.
That's what he gave it. Hey, you know when you're happy for your friend, you want to go, "Hey, come and do that again, everybody watch this," that kind of thing. But it was because I remember I was captivated in the cinema.
Yeah.
I was like, whoa. And he goes, "You remind me of my father." I did a face.
Hated my
I thought, listen, I better be good to my children, man. You get some psycho with a switchblade.
trust.
Yeah, remind me of my father.
No, I think what that stands up on though is method acting.
Mm-hmm.
I've never, and this would almost sound like a bias, but I've never cast a method actor because I don't believe in it personally.
Just to define, what's a method actor?
So a method actor is someone who doesn't just come on and portray a role. When they embody the role for the entire production. So like Sacha Baron Cohen is a very good example of this. Like when he plays Ali G, Borat, all of that, he does that as the character the entire time.
The Gangs of America, or Gangs of New York, that guy. Is Gangs of New York, you know the man with the moustache, Gangs of New York?
No, I don't actually know, sorry.
I can't remember. You'll probably know him, I can't remember.
Yeah.
He's always known for that.
Yeah.
Getting into the role of...
But
you don't think that's a good thing?
No, I don't. I don't think that's the best way to achieve the performance. Like, I think Heath Ledger is the biggest argument against what I said, but then again, he lost his mind, so is he? Like, he delivered this sensational performance, and you can say it's because he was a method actor, but I personally don't agree with it.
When I used to work in commercial construction, and I had a boss. Well, he wasn't a boss, he was a colleague, but he was higher ranking than me. And he bumped into Keith Ledger the day before he killed himself.
Jesus.
And he said he's going into a basement somewhere, like a basement shop down West End.
Yeah.
And some guy come downstairs, and then this other guy, and he realised it's Keith Ledger. And he said when he heard he was dead the next day, he said he was totally not surprised because he was really off his face.
Yeah.
He was like, someone who's like a zombie walking, and he's on so much drugs and stuff. But then, would you say that was a method acting? I'm thinking maybe that's not really method acting. Maybe
I think that affects you. That he didn't have nothing going on in his life. Like he had plenty of things that would have affected him. But I think when you spend that long, I think a lot of people don't realise how long it takes to make a film. That's like serious months on months on months on end. Being the Joker, I mean, people think, okay, it's a DC movie, it's silly in some ways, but you watch the film and it's serious, like it's very serious tones to it. And being that character for months on end, being this like horrendously twisted, so like manipulative and unsure of reality to the point that they'll lie about their backstory, that how can he even know what his real backstory is, like. And when you believe that you are that person to portray that person, it's going to seep into your mentality, the way you live your life, even afterwards. It's one of the reasons I don't agree with method acting.
When you're casting people, how
Yes.
do you work out who's a method actor?
But well, you just ask. Like, people don't come into an audition method acting. I don't find people would method act once they've got a role. Like I would start to get my suspicions from intensity. If people are really, really intense in an audition, either they're giving it their all and they really want the part, or that's just the way that they approach every role. So that would be what would start alarm bells for me. Yeah.
So I take it you went to university.
I did film production.
Film production.
Yeah.
tell us about that degree,
Okay.
because the reason why I ask
Yeah.
is because you branch out quite deeply into acting, and it's like you're an actor yourself, of the way you speak of it. And what I'm thinking now is that part of your training as your degree, or is it something just because of what you love, or is it just work of casting
Right.
director
Okay.
now?
Yeah. So the degree, I would say, was the spark, the tinder that like set the fire. I went to film school to actually be a director. That's what I wanted to be when I was younger, and that's what I came in with the outset of being. I don't have any like intentions to stop directing. Like, I do that on the side. I'm working on a little fantasy film at the moment, and eventually that'll be done, and I'll be very happy with it. But that's where I found my love with casting. We made a lot of films at university. That's what my university pushed us to do. They just pushed us in all our spare time to make more films.
What uni was this?
Ravensbourne.
Okay.
It's North Greenwich. It's the closest building to the O2. I loved my time there. It was very intense. It was very work driven, and that really suited me. But when it comes to the acting side, that my favourite element of directing and making films was always the portrayal of the story. It's all story driven for me, and yeah, I would put time into like reading books on working with actors. Like Judith Weston, for example, wrote a book that has a very basic name. It's called Directing Actors, but it's probably one of the most influential books I've ever read on the subject. And she's a very like in the moment like actor and director of actors, but there's a real difference between being in the moment and being honest with what someone would do in a moment, to actually being a method actor and and convincing yourself that you are that person, like Jim Carrey's done on like Man on the Moon, and he didn't do it again, but yeah. Yeah, that's sort of been my route to directing. Yeah.
As someone who casts people,
Yeah.
what are you looking for?
So there's the basic things. The basic things are like the producer's viewpoint, which is how like publicly someone will bring people into a film. That's the boring stuff. That's like how famous someone is, how many Instagram followers they have. It all comes to play.
You go that deep, so
Yeah,
social
100%.
media
100%.
must be a must, isn't it?
Yeah, because there's the people who do the best promo for the film are the people that have worked on it, the people that are in it. Like, for like, before you've got huge deals on a film and massive advertising contracts, that's where the real promo comes from. And that's where like the most diehard following for any film is going to come from anyway, is people that already like the work of someone who's in what they're doing.
Yeah, so I would automatically say, oh, Christopher Nolan, yeah, I'll watch that.
Exactly.
Or Leonardo
Exactly.
Young, I'll watch it. It's one of those kind of thriller.
Those basic stats and metrics, they really come into play. But for me, because I have such a background in writing, it's who's going to bring that character to life in a holistic way. Like, who's going to really dive deep, do their research into the character, more than just what every line could mean, but actually what that line would mean to the person. You know, it's when you can see someone feels like they're not just either the character relates to them, but actually they know someone that is so similar to that they want to embody it and bring all these things from their life into a character. That's when I really connect with an actor in an audition. Yeah.
I've got a question for you.
Yeah.
It's Will Smith, Chris Rock.
Okay.
I'm interested to hear your point of view as a casting person, and also as the person you are. And the reason why I ask this, because Will Smith has just signed a deal for 35 million cash up front
Yeah.
for a new movie. I can't remember the name of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about that situation, and what do you think about his casting ability? Because on social media, I was reading the comments, there's a lot of to and fro, and there's two camps.
Yeah.
There's I don't like Chris. I love everybody. You know, the Chris Rock camp of he's out of order, blah blah blah, and then there's the Will Smith camp of, oh, get over it, and they're usually women.
Yeah.
I love Will Smith regardless. Chris
Yeah.
Rock didn't press charges. What's the problem? Can't wait to watch the movie.
Yeah.
What's your take on the whole situation?
My take on the whole situation is when it boils down to the simple elements, it wasn't a right thing to have happened. Will Smith straight up assaulted Chris Rock. It's not okay. And he has been punished for that. He's not going to the Oscars anytime soon. That event punished him for it. But also, you can't turn around and say that publicity stunt is what has got Will Smith his roles in the future. Will Smith is a superstar. Will Smith has done massive, massive films, and he's going to continue to do them. He just did King Richard, incredible movie, based on the father of the Williams sisters.
They got upset with him that
Did they?
night. Yeah, because he said he had a moment of craziness like King Richard. He's still in the role of King Richard, which implies that their dad's a nutter. So was it Serena Williams, when she found out she was in the car heading back home, she said, it's a good thing I wasn't there when he said it.
Yeah.
She would have battered him with those big arms, man. She'd have battered him around the room.
Man,
You like to slap people? Come to him, bitch!
You want forehand or backhand? Pick.
And stuff like that. But yeah, I can see what you're saying. I suppose they're still looking at his numbers. There's probably someone there watching the numbers going up, and all the more. And there's that saying, there's no such thing as bad publicity.
Yeah, I mean, there is that saying, but that saying has disappeared in the last 5 years.
The Me Too thing, innit?
Yeah, Johnny Depp, he suffered from it.
Talk about, obviously this is all casting as well. Do you reckon he'll get his job back as Pirates account? He's put on weight now. He's gonna have to lose weight.
Pirates, no, nothing Disney. He won't be able to do a Disney contract anytime soon. That would be too messy. Because they cut him off so. There was nothing amicable about it. Like it was very. What's brutal. The word? It was brutal, yeah, but it was also very planned and meticulous, and they were like, well, that's not good for our press, so we're not working with him. And when you're actually cutting someone's career that hard, even though you've got contracts with them to do films with them, that's really bad for them. So I don't think that he would go back and work with them either.
So it's a mistake on Disney's part to handle it the way they did.
Disney's a Goliath. I don't think that they're going to be losing any sleep over it, but
at the same time, they sent a bad taste for other actors now, or actresses, or actors really. They're going to look at Disney like, okay, we know how you get down though.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
If I could go with Warner, I'm probably better off going with Warner than I am Disney.
Exactly. MGM are bringing out a streaming service. They're a massive production team and studio, so yeah, they might be able to compete as well. They're not one to be laughed at for sure. Everyone thinks like Netflix and Amazon had the cornerstone on it, but now Disney Plus have come into play and they're opening the door for everyone else.
But the thing is, I've got kids.
Right.
I had all the things. I cancelled my Disney the other day.
Did you?
Yeah, I stuck with Netflix.
Right.
Because they have documentaries.
Yeah.
And they have kids stuff and they have things. And I don't see Disney have enough content.
They do on Stars, because of Stars Play.
Do they own Stars?
They do. Disney owns Stars, yeah.
But they need to put Stars and Disney together then as one.
They have.
Oh yeah, they have, innit?
Yeah.
I never realised. That's why they were showing Power.
Yeah.
Makes sense now.
Yeah, Disney have been expanding, and They do understand the name of the game. And
They're they're reading the writing in the sand.
Yeah.
Yes.
For sure.
I never, but Netflix do some very good documentaries.
They do.
But they lost 1 million customers last month.
Yeah, but that's also based on like Russia and Ukraine as well.
Really?
Yeah, they suspended all Russian viewers, and
that's stupid.
Yeah,
that's stupid.
To punish the people for something that the leaders are doing is rough. Yeah.
That's so stupid. And it's like, there's a brand. There's a clothing brand, Chanel or something like that.
Right.
And the top models in Russia were cutting up the bags because she said she's shutting down their shops in whatever.
Right.
Is it Chanel or something like that? Some women's brand clothing is cutting up the bags, saying, if you don't support Mother Russia, then away with you. That means you will never be able to come back to that city.
Yeah.
To that country. So you've just cut yourself off 135 million people.
It's insane.
Who have money.
Yeah, serious money.
That's not. Do you see what I mean?
The Russians.
That's a bit of, you should have thought about that one.
Yeah. Yeah. But everyone's PC.
Yeah. What have you learned about the casting industry or the acting, directing industry as a whole that you wish you knew when you had started?
That it's not that scary. That I was working on a lot of projects that were for free, free projects where I wasn't getting paid. A lot of people weren't being paid, but they were very good projects, and that's why I got involved in them to begin with. So, what I wish I knew was that people do want to work on quality work. And that also means there's money to be found for quality work. So then you can actually entice the people that are relying on that work for a living. If someone's saying, well, this is a good project, then you can push back. You can push back for everybody. And what I've realized is, in a convoluted way of getting around to it, is that everything can be sold to the right people. There's so many streaming sites like we've been talking about that would invest in short shows, like Love, Death and Robots is a great example. That's had loads of money thrown into it for lots of short stories. And the possibility is out there, and you shouldn't be scared of the opportunity. If you can be hungry and go get it, then people will turn around and they will be receptive to that. There's an element of naivety that actually will help you. So don't be scared of going after what you believe in, and don't be scared of things that seem like they're on top of a mountain. They're not. They're very achievable if you just go for it. Yeah.
What does the future hold for you?
For me, I have been saving up for my first feature, so hopefully I will be directing my first feature in the next 2 years, and so I hopefully will move on into that format.
Is the script written already?
It is, yeah. It's a dark comedy about a very delusional man who doesn't really know who he is or what he wants from life, and when he's diagnosed with a terminal illness, he realizes he doesn't have long to find it out, and tries to turn away from that and follow some shallow sort of lines of escapism. And when you're faced with a short amount of time left, that's not the best way to pursue that. And yeah, he has a rude awakening very quickly. That's my first film idea anyway.
When it comes to making films and raising money,
yes,
how do you go about that?
I have been waiting for a long time for crowdfunding because it's not something I would want to do often, but I think I'm definitely going to give crowdfunding a go for this one because I want it to be my own film. I know of ways to apply to schemes and grants for the BFI, for example, the British Film Institution often try and fund up and coming filmmakers especially people of like BAME or like unsupported backgrounds. They're very, very good on that. However, I believe that as I'm someone who has got off their feet in their career, and I can afford to invest the money that I'm working towards. Like even when I was at university, I managed to in a bar job save up £6,000 and make a short film off that. So I know I'm good at saving. I know that I'm a hard worker, and I'm very happy to invest in myself. So I personally would say, like, if you can, invest in yourself. But though there is other options out there for people that can't. Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting. That's good. What would be your advice to a younger person who was trying to get into the industry?
My advice would be just start making things. Like, my advice is, there's the deeper down the rabbit hole you get of the professional world, the more expensive and unachievable everything seems. But some of the best pieces of like media in history, like the longest lasting sitcom that exists ever, is Always Sunny in Philadelphia, and that was made on a shoestring budget, the pilot for that show. Like the highest grossing film of all time was Paranormal Activity. That was made on $10,000. And
is that the one when they're in the woods?
No, that's the Blair Witch Project. Paranormal Activity is the one in the house where
Japanese or Chinese or something?
No, American. And it's the production story behind that film is well worth looking into. He took the script for his film to his studio, and it got turned down. And then he said, well, I believe in this project, I'm going to go home and make it. Which is, again, the advice I have for everybody, is just make any idea you think is good, because you can remake it, you can go back and you can learn from what you've done, but you can't if you never actually do it. So yeah, but when it comes to Paranormal Activity, he invested $10,000 of his own money into his film. He then took his finished film back to his studio. They said, oh, this is good. We're going to have Steven Spielberg make this film because it's a good idea. And because he was signed with the studio, he couldn't release it himself. He couldn't show any of the footage. So he did something groundbreaking. He showed footage of an audience at his local cinema watching his film and their reaction, and he released that online. And then when it had such a positive reaction, he said, apply to my studio for this film to be shown at your cinema. And people did. People saw such an incredible reaction.
So he backdoored them.
Yeah.
And what was their response?
They had Steven Spielberg redo the sound on it because they didn't have time for him to do anything else. But yeah, he still managed to get his film out. So
he became a multi-millionaire then?
Yeah, the film made, like 200 million in the first,
in the first week?
So, no, I couldn't give you the time frame, but it made like hundreds of millions in a very short space of time, from a $10,000 budget, which is
and they would have walked away
of.
with most of that money.
Of course.
And he stopped them. Good on them.
I mean,
good on him.
Yeah.
Yeah. I suppose when you're a big director, you just get things thrown at you, innit?
Yeah. Which he wasn't. He was an average director who happened to work at like Steven Spielberg's film studio. Yeah.
Okay.
Not average anymore. Historic now.
If you could work with anybody, who would it be?
If I could work with anyone, it would actually be an actor called Robert Sheehan. You would know him from like the show Misfits. He was the Irish lad in that.
Wait, is he from Game of Thrones as well?
No, Robert Sheehan wasn't in Game of Thrones. He's in like Umbrella Academy. He's done a Ridley Scott film.
Okay.
I think he's an incredibly witty, intelligent man, and yeah, I would kill for the opportunity to work with him, whether it was casting or directing. Yeah.
Okay, I thought that was the guy in Game. You've seen Game of Thrones?
Yeah.
The Battle of the Bastards, the one that kills his dad and
Right.
feeds his baby brother. And
So he was in Misfits.
Yeah.
He's oh god, what's his name? You know the line in Misfits, "Save me, Barry," what's said to him.
Yeah.
He's like there, and this Robert Sheehan's the one who's immortal and falls onto the fence and calls for that guy's help. Yeah,
Okay.
the Irish lad. Yeah.
Are you born in Ireland?
No, I wasn't born in Ireland. I was born in England, but I'm second generation. My whole family's Irish.
Okay.
Named after 2 kings and a terrorist.
They must love you for your English accent.
Yeah, I get mocked for it a lot, but I can take that. Yeah.
Okay. Well, it's been great interviewing you.
Thank you very much. It's been great talking.
We've learned a lot. If people want to find you, where can they find you, social media wise?
Probably Instagram is the best bet. Connor B O'Neill. Yeah.
Do you want to spell that for us?
CONORBONEILL. Yeah,
Okay,
that's where you find most of my updates.
Okay. Well, thanks a lot for that, and we wish you well.
Thank you very much.
We hope that episode enhanced your life. We post an interview every day as well as vlogging on our social media channel. Don't forget to subscribe to get our latest episode.